Welcome to season 2. I'm Haylee, and this is Meet Me in the Bathroom. We are sadly not in a bathroom, but we are in my studio, and this is literally not how I wanted to start the episode, but here we are. It has been, life lately has just been, I guess we're just going to get into it because that's kind of how this is going, and not the introduction I wanted, but life has been going crazy. I swear, like, this is a when life hands you lemons situation, like left and right. Like, I couldn't be getting more lemons from life. Like, getting lemons from my daughter, from my husband, myself, family, like just life in general. Like, lemons are coming at me, and I'm like, I get it. There's an abundance of lemons. Like, maybe we could have a watermelon right now. Like, I could totally switch fruits, and like maybe I could handle a watermelon, and life is just like, bitch, that's literally not in season. Like, sorry, no watermelons at the moment, just lemons. So there's been a lot going on, and I think we're like staying afloat for the most part, but like getting this episode going again. My daughter just turned 18 months. So she's going through this sleep regression, and that has its own like trials and tribulations. And she's like refusing to nap during the day. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to record my episode and I can just do it while Dot's napping. But if she's not napping, like, how am I going to record this episode? She's finally went down for a nap, and it's fairly late in the day. So it's probably going to result in a long night, but here we are. You take your lemons and you make your lemonade or your lemon curd, or you just keep going with a big old bucket of lemons, right? I think that's the saying, right? When life hands you lemons, you just add them to your bucket and you just keep on chucking. I feel like that would be a better saying, because I don't really get the lemonade thing. I mean, like, yes and no. You know what I mean? But anyway, enough about lemons. It's Valentine's Day. I had every intention of starting this episode with like a, yes, happy Valentine's Day, lady love. Like, oh, that's just, what this whole podcast has even stemmed from. And if you're new here, we're called Meet Me in the Bathroom, or this podcast. Not sure what to say about like me, us. I don't know. I feel like us is like a universal like word for when you're speaking of a company, business, brand, even though it could very much just be you. I don't know. Anyway, so if you're new here, Meet Me in the Bathroom comes from the place of that magical moment whenever you go into the women's bathroom and you are instantly connected with other women, whether you need to borrow a lipstick, or you need someone to fix your hair, or you're just like having a tough time and you have somehow sparked up a conversation with this woman in the bathroom. And it's kind of like transformed and like uplifted you. And how that experience is truly unique to women and female culture. And it's really just this monumental experience that we get to have that not a lot of people get to enjoy. And it's kind of a silver lining and just a hidden joy in the lives of us as women. And I absolutely love that that's like special for us. And I really wanted to, in the beginning, I really wanted to highlight like that experience alone. But now I'm realizing that I think that experience is something that I really want to embody and experience outside of just the bathroom. Like I want to put myself out there to have these connective moments with, well, not just women, but specifically with women, is when it's like, to me, one of the most cherished opportunities, because women have this superpower about them, and it's like empathy, nurturing, understanding. Like when you think of men and women, there's a reason why men are different than women, and I'm not at all saying that like women can't obtain some of those qualities, but I think sometimes it's really nice to lean into our feminine nature and like our strengths as women and celebrate that we are different from men, and that is something that needs to be celebrated, and that we do need people who are nurturing and caring, and that's just embedded in who they are, like genetically, and leave other testosterone heavy qualities just for people that might carry testosterone a lot more than us. But so, like I said, I wanted this to be kind of a safe space for women to dive into different aspects of being a woman. Like, why is it that we have these moments in the bathroom? Is it like because alcohol is involved mostly whenever you're at a bar, or are we really just searching for feminine connection in these unexpected moments? And it's whenever you are really vulnerable and putting yourself out there and kind of least expecting it, is that whenever you're witnessing these types of moments, or maybe they're impacting you more heavily at that time. But I want to dive more into that and just like talk to women in general and get women's experience and what are they doing? How did they handle this aspect of their life? Is there an aspect of their life that they're going through and they want to talk through that I don't know anything about, that it would just be beneficial to be just a witness to their experience. And like, I think a lot of women or just kind of believe that the women in general need a sounding board. And that's how we talk through our thoughts and balance through our emotions and sort out where we are, how we're feeling, just kind of gauging where we're at in a moment to assess the situation going further. And I want to bring women on for that and have like an array of women. I think it would be really cool to do some maybe like professors at UT, just some friends I've made here in Austin and everywhere in between, maybe some authors, maybe just like a random person I run into on the street. I think it'd be really, really fun to maybe do like those like super TikTok-y real segments of people like, answer this question really fast, or something like that. Maybe not so much that. Or, I really thought it would be cool to do like a live podcast in a bathroom, but that would, one, be highly inappropriate, and two, just like toilet noises, maybe not the best for this type of situation, but it would be true to the essence. But maybe I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm wanting to do these monthly meetups, and the one that I'm hosting will be here in Austin at Bobo Snack Bar in East Austin from 6 to 8 on February 21st. I believe it's like next Wednesday following this episode. I have a link for it in my Instagram and all that, and you can click on it and get a ticket if you're in the Austin area. That would be amazing. But I'm wanting to put these women's meetups together and just to kind of like have these sounding boards and stuff in a more communal sense and not just like a one-on-one situation. So kind of like having a diversity of these women's experiences and like how you can tune in and whatnot is really like up to you. If you want to have like listen to these one-on-one conversations, or if you really want to be part of the community, that'd be great too. But the first women's meetup that I'm going to do is going to be centered around goals. And we're going to answer 3 big questions. So what is something that you're working on right now or that you're striving for? And the next question will be, do you have any limiting beliefs around this? Like, what is kind of hindering you from meeting this goal? Or do you have any personal things that are pausing you or holding you back? And then the last question is, how will obtaining this goal, reaching this goal, going after what you're striving for, how is that going to positively impact your life? And I think reflecting on these things can help you kind of like keep the framework of like why you're going after something in the forefront of your head. And also, like, I think it's important to rework a lot of like our neurological responses to certain things, as far as like if you have these like false beliefs of why you can't do something, because that will really hold you back in life. And I'm definitely learning that at this point in my life. I'm 29 years old. I'm about to be 30, and excuse me, I have like a lot. I think a lot of my earlier 20s were just me like living life, getting consequences, slowly learning lessons, but like not really kind of understanding that I needed to do a lot of self work. Or maybe I thought I was doing self work, but I was just like self sabotaging and not doing appropriate things to assess the situation properly, and like reflecting on myself in a positive way. And now that I'm getting to my 30s, I'm starting to realize that there is a lot of work that needs to be like done, and I need to kind of like reframe a lot of my natural thought processes to kind of help aid me going forward in my own life. And how I, like, for example, me and my husband were talking last night. We went to my friend Reb's for the Super Bowl, to watch the Super Bowl, and we get in the car, and I was instantly like asking my husband, do you think that went well? Do you think like our daughter was too chaotic with her son, like blah blah blah, like? And Addison was like, yeah, I think she had such a great time. I think it went really well. Like, I think you just kind of have this natural response that everyone's kind of out to get you, or that like everyone's like something's always wrong. And I for sure think that. Like, I instantly think when someone makes a comment that it's passive aggressive, or they have like an ulterior motive, or something else might be really going on. And I read into like the small little things, which I think as a woman, that is kind of natural. But I think that there are other parts of me that was a defense mechanism, or that was a learned behavior throughout my life. And it doesn't necessarily improve my life all the time to have that thought and to think that way. And so I'm now at this point, I am understanding that that's a behavior I have. It's something that I need to rework and redefine on when is there really a threat to me, and when am I just reacting or paranoid, or this is just a instinctive response and I'm really not paying attention to what's actually happening. And so I want to like dive into things like that at the goals women's meetup, and also just reassess those things in my own life. But like I said, I'm about to turn 30, and I'm so excited. I think I've, for the past maybe 8 years, I think since I turned maybe like 23, I've truly been so excited to turn 30. I think that there's like this with women, or really people in general. I feel like you're either like one of those people that's like, holy shit, we're so old, we're 30, or you're like, I'm excited. Like, to me, your 30s are like you're maturing, you're confident in yourself, you're moving in this way through your life where you feel more connected to yourself and your own needs. You're just like done with the bullshit, and you've made good changes. You've started to make good changes in your life. And like through that next decade, you're really going to fine tune that like self solitude, but that's like in a serene way, and have just, I guess, yeah, like this serenity inside of your own person. And I'm so excited for that. I've spent so much of my life like anxious, depressed, worried, like can be such a worry word sometimes. And I think now that I'm coming into my 30s, I'm feeling a little more of this confidence. I think that comes with age. I think that's also come with becoming a mom. You literally just do not have time for the bullshit or like things that, if it doesn't pertain to like my everyday life or like my daughter, honestly, like I just don't have time for it. And I certainly just don't care. Like my mental load of being a mom and like starting to focus on my own things, I don't have time for other like menial things that maybe you just had the space to entertain when you were younger. And that is so exciting and so relaxing. And I'm just like truly excited to turn 30. Me and my husband laugh sometimes that we've kind of embodied, like we've mentally been 30 for maybe a little bit now, but now we're actually going to be 30. My husband is 30 now. And I think it's going to be so fun. Like we're going to really form these family memories, possibly expand our family, maybe not. I don't know, still up in the air. But there will just be a lot of like life that happens in your 30s that you will be really present for, and in a mental space that's maybe just a little more clear and maybe a lot more perspective than, in previous years. So, in all the 30 years prior. So that seems really, really exciting for me. I used to like, I want to say even maybe like 4 years ago, when you're like going to be 30, I think people are like, let's throw this big 30s party. And I think for the longest time, I was like, yeah, let's do like a retro rollerblading thing. Or we used to live out in the country. So it's like, it'd be really cool if we did like a big country, like hoedown kind of situation, or, something just like grand and fun to really celebrate, the next decade of life. And I think now, honestly, I desperately want to like just be alone in my house. I think sometimes I feel really guilty for saying that out loud, but I think I'm starting to come around with like, no, that is truly what I want. Like it would be really nice to wake up at my own pace and just to have some like quiet in the house and not have to like honestly just tend or care or think about anybody else but myself. And I don't like, that's most certainly doesn't come from a place of like, I don't want to do that. Like I love the job. I love being a stay-at-home mom, and I love tending to my family and being with my family. But I think that there is necessity in balance. And I mean, I think that there's a big shift in like mental understanding and space that people need to be able to like have time of their choosing on like how they're going to rebalance themselves or recenter themselves. And I'm someone who really does enjoy alone time. And I haven't truly ever been alone in at least 18 months. Even before then, like whenever I'm like prior to having our daughter, and maybe when Addison was like out working or he went somewhere, and that's been maybe over 2 years, I haven't been like alone. And I've definitely never been alone in our own house by myself. And that just sounds nice to like have some time for myself, get some like much, much needed projects out of the way. And yeah. Is that weird? No, it's not weird. It's not weird. I think that like maybe I just think that some people might think that's weird, and some people might just think like, oh, that's really nice. And honestly, like who gives a shit what anybody else thinks? Like to me, that sounds so nice to my own soul, and that's all that matters, right? So Yeah, maybe we'll orchestrate that, or maybe, just like a little more alone time of some sort. But yeah, I don't know if I said this earlier, but happy Galentine's Day. I'm so excited that I'm releasing this first episode on Galentine's Day. I've gone to 2 Galentine's events this past week. One was for a group here. We live in this neighborhood called Mueller in Austin, and there is a group that formed in our neighborhood called Moms of Mueller. Love that it's like MOM. And I have been going to a few of these events, and they're so great. It's so nice to kind of be putting myself out there in a community and like getting to know not just neighbors, which is critical whenever you like move somewhere, especially when you have children. Like just knowing other women and people that live around you is oddly such a stress relief. And we've been dying to kind of like put down roots for a while. We've lived in like, well, after high school, I moved around Houston a little bit, but I lived in the Houston area. And then when me and my husband met, I moved to Louisiana to be with him. And we were in Lake Charles, and then we were in Lafayette. And then we moved to Liberty Hill, which is like a rural area north of Austin. And we've had wanted to put roots down at like each place, but we weren't actively doing it. Maybe we didn't really know how. Or I also think while we were in Louisiana that we kind of like knew that we weren't going to be there forever, or we definitely knew we weren't going to be there forever. We had such a great time there, but I didn't ever really make like my own friends, like actively seek my own friendships. It was really through like my husband's friends or my husband's colleagues. And now that we're in Austin, I'm finally able to, and like really wanting to put down roots, make my own friends, put myself out there. And that's been so amazing and also kind of scary. I never realized this until like a few days ago that I haven't truly actively, intentionally, really gone after making friends since high school. And I'm almost 30, so that's like 15 plus years, if not more. Like just not really, I haven't made like a whole lot of new friends in 15 years. And that's crazy because that's half of my life. And I've changed a lot since high school. And to me, that like blew my mind. Like I really need to find other friendships that, are in my area. Like I don't have to like FaceTime to see my friends because it's really, really hard to see your friends when y'all are living in all different places. But it also just gives me such a big sense of community and just self-pride to feel really connected to where you're putting your roots down. And it feels nice to be finally doing that here. We've moved to this neighborhood that we are in love with. It was such a struggle, like mentally for me moving here at first, because we were moving from a place where when we bought that home, I had dreamed of us, like raising our family there, our kids being able to run in the backyard and stick their hands in the garden and just be muddy and feral, and us, doing a lot of outdoor, like cutting trees and having campfires and, that type of stuff. And now we're like living pretty much city life. Like we went down to one car. We have electric bikes that we ride. Pretty much like most of the places that we need to go, we'll take a bike instead of the car. And we can walk to places, and our neighbors are like 5 feet away from us, and just really mentally a different space than I thought I was going to be in at this point. But I've really embraced it, and I'm really, really loving it. And there's so many interesting women and stuff. And like I was saying, I went to this Galentine's event for the Moms of Mueller. And then this weekend I went to a brunch and I got to sit down with 5 other really amazing women and, get to deepen these connections. With the girl who hosted it, Maddie, I had briefly met at this like writers meetup, and she like reached out to me and she was like, I'd love to have you here. And I was like, this really made my day, of like when you meet another woman and she's like, I would really like to get to meet you more. And you're like, I would really like to get to meet you more. And then you just make that happen. Like, it's almost like dating, I think I may have talked about this before in like a different episode, but it is such a relief. And you have these like connections. And I guess I didn't realize how much I was dying to have these connections with other women, and just feeling this need that I didn't realize I needed being met, and how it just makes me feel more in tune to myself. And gosh, it's so nice. I don't know. I'm really, really enjoying this season of these types of experiences, even though earlier I was literally complaining about all the shit that was going wrong and all of life's lemons. But yeah, I think that there are different things that you can embrace at different seasons. And I think this is the season that I see all the crazy things that are happening, and you make mature decisions, and you kind of clean up and simplify your life a little bit so that you can enjoy the things that you really want to enjoy. At least that's what I'm gathering from right now, is that's kind of the thing that I should be working on. And I'm feeling comfort in that. I'm feeling confident in that. And I'm feeling a lot of self-love coming from that area. So it feels on track. It feels right, and yeah. What feels right to you guys? I feel like that might be a good place to end on, is where are you at on your like life seasons, and what are you learning, and what feels good to you right now, and how are you embracing that? I would love to hear from you. And if you're in the Austin area, I would love, love, love if you came to the meetup, or if you just subscribed or followed and kept up to date with the podcast. And yeah, maybe we can become friends. Like, send me a message. I would just love that. That would be so great. Like, let's make some more women connections that are empowering and uplifting. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope this was a really like special Galentine's episode that makes you feel love for yourself and reflection and all those things. So I'll see you on episode 2, and I hope you have a great day.